Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is NickTuck33 and welcome back to another Borderlands video. Today, we are going to take a look at what makes Borderlands 2's story so amazing. A lot of you know that Borderlands 2's story is said to be, like, the best story in the Borderlands universe, which, I mean, it is, aside from probably Tales, because that's story-based, but, you know, that's beside the point. Today, we're going to look at, like, what makes Borderlands 2's story so good. So, starting off, we're going to take a look at probably the most important aspect of the story, or at least in my opinion, the most important, and that is the villain. Now, a lot of you know that Handsome Jack is by far the best villain in all of Borderlands. So, there's multiple things that goes with this. Starting off, Jack is the kind of villain that you like because he's funny, but also like because you hate him, if that makes sense. So a good villain is one that you can like and hate at the same time. So Jack just does a really good job of that. At the beginning of the game, he's all like, "Hey, Pumpkin," he's super nice and charismatic, even though he's just tried to kill you, and he's charming. Kind of like Pagan Min from Far Cry 4. He's got this, like, comedic evil feel to him, which I think is a really good way to do a villain. And then, like, after you kill his daughter, Angel, which I probably should have put a spoiler warning, but whatever, too late now. After you kill his daughter, Angel, he gets super mad at you. He no longer starts talking to you in those nice, charismatic ways. He's talking about how he's gonna kill you, and then at the end, once you finally defeat him, he does this weird thing where he's like, "It should have been me, no, I'm the good guy here." Yeah, he gives this whole speech. But yeah, he just makes a really good villain, because he changes a lot. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about that. Next up, the progression and, like, story missions and stuff like that. So, story missions in this game are, I don't want to say fetch quests, because they're not, but at the same time they are. They're not very unique. There's a couple unique ones, but mainly the main idea of this game is just run around and kill stuff. So you run through a zone, you kill a bunch of people, maybe there's a boss at the end, and then you do it all over again. That's kind of the main premise. Now, there are a couple missions, like the Overlook mission, which is notoriously hated by all of the Borderlands community, because it is difficult AF. But then there's also stuff like, let's see, what other unique missions are there? Off the top of my head, I can't think of any unique missions, story missions, that is. But there's a lot of similar ones. So, for example, running through Sawtooth Cauldron is very similar to running through Bloodshot Stronghold. You run through a zone, you kill bandits, and you collect something. Now, granted, Bloodshot Stronghold, you have to collect Roland. But still, it's the same premise. Which is really the general idea, excuse me, of this game, is, like I said before, you just run around, run through a zone, kill some people, On to the next mission. Mission complete. Done. Hooray. Yeah. The mission structure is not that complicated. There are something like 21 missions in the story. I forget exactly how many there are, but there's kind of a lot, but it only takes you about, I'd say, 10 hours to complete the story. It's not a very long story, just because of how simple the story is. But then on to the next bit, which is locations. So, locations, in my opinion, are pretty key to the story because you kind of have to like the story you have to like the location to like the story. So, for example, some of my friends may know that I've been playing Halo recently, and there have been missions that I just don't like the surrounding, and thus I will rush through the mission and complete it as fast as I can, which, from a gameplay perspective, you don't want that. You want people to stay engaged in your game. You want to keep people like wanting to play and stay and all that stuff. So having good zones, having good levels is very important. And Borderlands 2 nails that. From what's it called? Southern Shelf. Yes. That, not a big fan of that place, but it still isn't bad. Don't like it because of the amount of bandits there are. I don't like fighting bandits or robots. I don't know. So, yeah. And then the dust is cool. Iridium Blight, oh my god, that's probably my favorite location in all of Borderlands 2. Just because of how unique it is. So, location is definitely a key factor. Next, let's take a look at, what is there? Characters. Characters, yes. So, characters are a key part. So, Lilith, Mordecai, Brick, all those people, Roland, they all make great characters. So, what makes it so good is, the people who played Borderlands 1 know the characters. So they played as Brick, Mordecai, Lilith, and Roland. So they obviously know them. So I mean, it's not like you can. I don't know. You know the characters, and you're like, hey, those people, I know them, and so then you probably like them more, I'd assume. So characters are kind of important, and Mordecai, out of all of those, is probably the best. Him or Brick. Brick is really funny. I've never really been a fan of Lilith, just because she's too grumpy, she's too, we need to fight, ha. And Roland is also that way. Roland is just, he has no character. But Brick and Mordecai both have a character, they both have somewhat of a backstory. Well, Brick doesn't, really. But they actually have, characters and, like, stories behind them. Whereas Lilith is just kind of the Firehawk, and Roland is just kind of, well, I don't actually know what Roland is. So yeah, characters are important. And the next thing is character development and plot twists. So, there's quite a few plot twists, such as when Bloodwing dies. That's kind of a surprise. It's an interesting thing, because I've seen people who do predict Bloodwing's gonna blow up, because during that fight, Jack's always saying, like, oh, there's one more element left. What is it? I forget. And people who know the elements know that explosive is the only one being left out. So, obviously, you can assume that explosive is the last element that needs to be put into Bloodwing's system. And then there's, of course, when Jack kills Roland, which surprised everybody. So, yeah, there's quite a few plot twists in there. Really, that's all I can think of, honestly. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to, subscribe. This is a horrible intro. Outro, I cannot think. I'm sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you guys really enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, because that'd be awesome. You all have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.